The skating lesson is brought to you by Audible, where you can listen to audiobooks of your favorite titles, including Alone by Bill Jones, The Triumph and Tragedy of John Curry. Enter the code TSL Visionaries 20 at checkout for a free audiobook for new Audible members. Alone is also the January book club selection for the TSL Visionaries book club. To join this community, you can subscribe by selecting the join button on YouTube. The join button is to the left of where you hit subscribe beneath a YouTube video. If you would prefer to join the community on Facebook, please click the link in the description box below.
Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. My name is Dave Lees, and today I'm thrilled to welcome Koroleva Maya Bagriantseva to discuss the Russian nationals. Maya, welcome back to the skating lesson.
I'm so thrilled to be back. Dave just called me the queen.
Yes.
So I'm very flattered. Thank you.
Yes, and because our favorite commentator was announcing this weekend, we have to say, Zdorova! Lutz. Yes.
No. She usually says сделала, which is like done.
Сделана, здорово. We have Shitornoy Salkov, Shitornoy Lutz. Yes, we have so many. What she was really delivering this weekend. She was back on TV. Is it the first time she's been back commentating in a while?
In a while, yes, but she was fantastic. It was just, pure pleasure to listen to her. She had some, questionable comments regarding the weight, especially at the women competition, but that's her thing. She usually does that. That's not very nice. But apart from that, she was very precise. She showed fantastic knowledge of what's happening in the world of figure skating. It's obvious that she's been following the International Grand Prix series. She knows who is doing like quads and stuff like that. She is in the know. She knows what's going on, and that was pretty surprising and great to hear, great to know.
And her health is good, because for a while we didn't know if she, remember, like on Sports Root, we didn't know if she was going to make it a year ago. We were like, she was back. This was full Tatiana Anatolievna.
Many reporters call her for her comments on this or that, but usually, her comments are questionable, I would say. Probably she's not in the mood, or probably she's being transcribed not the way she originally meant it. But when she was commentating the nationals, she was fantastic. Like one word, the queen, very precise, and she noticed every single nuance. She was good. I enjoyed it, truly enjoyed it.
You know what I love is that as soon as an athlete retires, the first thing they do is they take a picture with Tarasova. And I don't care how fat she called me on TV. I would take a picture with her too and do it. Like, it's the camp of Russian nationals. It's like the Christmas tree, Tarasova, and Tuktamisheva is right there looking glamorous. She's never looked prettier in her life. Yes, it was amazing to see her back. It felt like Russian nationals to me, to see her.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, she did get kicked off of TV when she upset Terry a couple years ago, allegedly. Right?
Allegedly, nobody knows exactly what happened, but Tatiana Tarasova can be, tough when she has an opinion, and she does have an opinion.
Varuskaya, da.
She definitely, there is a rumor that she's upset somebody, but she's back on track. Obviously, Channel 1 is happy to have her back. And the audience, I read the comments and different social network posts, and everybody seems to be happy that she's back.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I noticed that fans are getting a little bit more interested in Russian nationals. They're not as angry as they were a year ago during the war. With the doping, I think things have maybe cooling off slightly. In the US, there's so much attention on what is happening in Israel and Palestine that we're not hearing about Russia and Ukraine as much. And I think because of that, maybe people are missing the Russians. It's evening a little, it's thawing slightly. But I do have to wonder, is Tarasova upsetting Eteri by calling at least two of her top skaters overweight, or maybe Eteri agrees? Like, what do you make of that? Like, she was very rude to at least three skaters, saying that they shouldn't have shown up at nationals.
We don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And something tells me it was not
You didn't
about.
light a candle. You weren't there. You didn't light a candle. Can you explain?
Yeah. That's for sure. Yes, but I don't think that the comments about the weight are considered to be toxic in Russian culture, and especially with the Terry. Come on, I'm not sure that this could upset her.
Okay.
So I don't know, and I'm not ready to discuss that because I definitely don't have any source of information on the issue.
Yeah. No, I have to say, when we would discuss, because we do offline, we were discussing skaters who are coming back. I've always been partial to Daria Usushova. I love her musicality. I love her heart when she skates, but you always knew she wouldn't be back. But Maya Chromikh
It was pretty obvious.
Yes, Maya was here. What did you make of her performance? I was very sad for her because she's obviously worked very hard to get back. She's obviously had a very tough go. And I thought it was interesting that, 2 years ago, I kept thinking about what Russian skating looked like, and we had 7 girls going for the Olympic spots, the Sixitary girls with Dmitrieva.
Like we're having pairs now.
Yeah, yes. Okay, I want you to break down the whole pair field for us. Oh, you got I have mine. I got it for Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. I love it. Skating. Yes. Mine is my nephew's. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
we should have a competition of mugs every time we
have. Yes. So, what did you make of Maya? I mean, I've heard that her injury was very, very serious. We saw Daria's on TV, unfortunately, but we didn't see Maya's injury, but hers is quite severe and it was kept quite quiet.
I think it was a combination of factors. The injury itself, and then, Maya kept growing. And she could not train for a certain period of time, kind of for long, and combined with the fact that, she keeps growing and her body is changing. Probably she was not equipped, she was not ready to train as much as they usually train at, at Hrustalny, at Team Todveridze camp, not camp, but the rink. So this is factor number one. Second, for the Olympic season, she was in the game. She was well motivated. Her quad.
Oh. I mean, we forget that happened, right? She beat Anna Shcherbakova.
Yeah. So this season, she decided that she wants to, compete. I don't know why she's doing that. I'm very happy that she's still there if she's interested in that. But to be honest, I don't see that she loves skating, like she enjoys skating. I have a feeling, probably I'm wrong, I have a feeling that she just doesn't know what to do. She's frustrated. All she knows is the rink. All she knows is how to skate. That's her life. And then all of a sudden she's out of the game. She is not considered seriously. She keeps going to her rink every morning and nobody can tell her, okay, you're not competing at the Russian nationals. If you can, show some result, okay, go if you qualify. But we discussed that, I think, at the last episode. They are not ready to move on. Probably they shouldn't. Everybody's pretty happy that Gracie Gold is still, was still trying to be in the game. But I just have a feeling it's not because she genuinely loves skating, but just because she's a little bit lost and doesn't know what else to do.
You know who looks like she loves skating?
Let's first of all tell everybody she finished last at Russian nationals, which is a pretty sad result. She had really a number of really bad falls at the free. So, this is definitely not the result she counted on, and obviously not the result her coaches counted on.
Now, did you see that after you maybe brought up Karen Chen as a punchline, she skated at a tree lighting in New York City and the performance got like 1 million views? It was beautiful. She loves skating.
A disclaimer. I don't have anything against Karen Chen. She's a beautiful skater. Seriously, she's a nice girl. And it's not like, don't make me look like I'm her hater. It's not like that.
It's not as competitive. Yeah.
We were discussing the Olympic team medals. And in this contest,
she did not perform well.
There are some questions. But still, nothing against Karen Chen. Merry Christmas, Karen Chen.
She was great at the Christmas tree lighting. If you haven't,
it was a fantastic performance. It was fantastic atmosphere.
She loves skating.
Yeah, but I forgot at the beginning of the episode, I should have said that I'm very grateful, Dave, that you decided to discuss Russian nationals. That's a very brave move of yours. I know it's not very, there are some people who do not support this decision, but to be honest, I think that it's very, very important to maintain those ties between the international figure skating and Russian figure skating. I mean, I see that as my mission, is a big word, to keep telling the Russian audience about what's happening at the Grand Prix circuit, at other nationals, because it's important for Russian audience to know what's happening, what's going on. The same, vice versa. I think it's really nice if people who really love sport, who really love figure skating, that they keep an eye on what's happening in Russia, because it's still figure skating and there are beautiful skaters there who will be eventually allowed to compete at a certain point. And I mean, they do interesting stuff. Why not keep an eye on that? Because many Russian skaters, they say that, of course, they watch international Grand Prix series. Of course, they keep an eye on what's happening in their field. And that's logical. That's, that's sane. That's normal, I would say.
Yeah, I've thought a lot about it because I think journalistically covering Russian nationals is the right thing to do. I don't do stuff like we used to make the pyramid of Eteri and all of that stuff. And I stopped doing that because I felt that after what we saw the Olympic season and what happened at the Olympics with Trusova and Valieva, it's not really funny anymore in terms of the camp and the humor of it. But when I was in university, we read about, it was 2005, the fall, that I started in journalism school. I was a sophomore, and we were reading all about the Iraq War from the perspective of Iraqis. And it was a lot about what the Americans were doing to them, right? And about how we came into another country. And it just makes me think that there's a lot that this is not on the skaters. They happen to be Russian. They happen to have been born in Russia. They were blessed with an abundance of talent. They are skating. They're not their government who is fighting. But where they get in trouble, and we could talk about this, is kind of comments like Julin makes that get into the propaganda of it all. And there are some skaters who are smarter to kind of not speak about it. And then there are some that get involved. And I think that when Julin is on TV saying, we are so much better than the rest of the world if we come back, and he said it in the way what he was talking about in his interview with Trenkov. It was about ice dance and about how everyone will be inferior to them. I mean, the rest of the world kind of has to allow them to come back, although I do believe it will be the IOC that applies the pressure. I think that sometimes Tarasova and Julin go too far with their comments, and Yagudin, in this.
Yeah, I think I need to explain. Once again, Russian figure skating is 100% dependent on the state funding.
Yes.
Russian coaches are paid by the state. They do not pay for using the rink. The rink is provided by the state. Everything is covered by the state. So obviously they are dependent. They depend on what the state policy is. I wouldn't call that hostages or something. Everybody makes their own choice. But the point is that when I hear I have lots of international friends, and when they say, why don't Russian figure skaters speak up? Why don't they express their, what they think, their point of view? It's kind of tricky, because this would be immediately not just the end of their sport career, but it would mean that there are no ice shows for them. They cannot coach. They will not be allowed at any of the rinks. And majority of the rinks are, state, at least the state is involved at a certain point. They cannot coach anybody who has some, plans to be big in terms of competitive career. So they have to be silent. Again, not have to be, they can say something, but it's tricky and it's not that easy. And that's very important to understand. Julin, he has the right to express his, to my opinion, strange point of view, but it's his opinion and he should, be accounted to that. But the tricky thing here is that for some reason, not for obvious reason, Russian ice skaters are banned. They're not allowed to compete. But look at the Russian coaches.
Yes.
They are still at all the competition. Not that I want the Russian coaches to be banned, but it's just, if Julin was coaching some international team, he would be in at the Beijing Grand Prix final, the Grand Prix events, and that wouldn't probably, raise any questions. So, of course, some comments are just outrageous. It's just that I really would be very happy if you do not hold the ice skaters who train with
I
him.
don't. I hold each person individually accountable for their comments.
Not you personally, but if we're talking about like Twitter audience, they can be, tough.
I view it, and we know that Russians love chess. I view many of the top coaches as chess players, right? Mishin, Moskvina, Tudberidze, they would all be good at chess, right?
Oh, yes. They're smart.
People like Plushenko, Julin, I don't know if they would be as good, right? Like they don't seem to be as long-term strategic is what
I understand what you're talking about, but Plushenko actually is learning.
Yes.
2 years ago, he was saying way more stuff than he's saying now, because he sees that there is a direct, connotation, direct link between what he's saying and what scores his skaters are getting. So,
well, she may have lost the Pyeongchang Olympics, but I think that Evgenia Medvedeva is the real queen for the future of Russian figure skating. I do think that when Tarasova eventually is no longer commentating, it will be Zhenya at the mic. I think she is.
You want her to stay in figure skating? Don't you want her to have a life like other than figure skating?
Excuse me. Don't you want to see Zhenya come to the rink in like a limo with a mink coat and to sit down and to discuss on TV?
I'm sure she's better than that. And
that could be one of her many activities. Okay. When I would like her, I was upset when I heard that maybe she was dating a pair skater that didn't even qualify for nationals, because I thought she needs someone more famous. Like she's just at that level. Like
no. I think she needs the one she loves. Okay. And the one who
she loves. I would like the one she loves to maybe be a guy that could be on her level, right? Because otherwise you get in problems in relationships with this. And
they're young. I'm sure that,
when you have that much talent and
you just want more drama. You just want some, Russian oligarchs.
That is not true, because if we don't get Medvedeva as the proper commentator for this kind of an event, we could be left with Zagitova. I wasn't very happy with her at the draw, with her questions, with her outfits, with it. She doesn't look like herself anymore. It's just I would like Zhenya seems more down to earth. She's grittier.
In terms of media performance and, image, yes, there is a big difference between those two girls. Probably they need some of them need some counseling. I mean, not counseling like a shrink, but counseling in terms like media consultant would be a real good advice for Alena, because she's a nice girl, but she is, there's too much showing off at the moment. But I mean, she attracts the audience. And people love to see and discuss her outfits, though they can be ridiculous sometimes.
How is Tuktamisheva at announcing? Because the last time we really heard her speak was when she didn't make the World Championships in 2019, and then she was very upset with Tarasova, who is rumored to have helped Zhenya get there, and she was on Instagram, and then she never really spoke again after that. She spoke out one time.
She is fantastic. She is an icon. She is on good terms with Tarasova. There are lots of pictures.
We saw the picture. Yes.
But Lisa is probably, if I say the smartest, that would be an insult to all the other skaters, but she is definitely, she knows what she wants. She is very nice to everybody. She is smart. And, sometimes in the interview, she is being, some journalists ask her, don't you want to commentate or give a comment on Valieva case? And she's like, there's been so many comments on Kamila's case. I'm absolutely sure a world can live without mine. And
smart, so smart.
She is wise. And she can be ironic about herself, which is a fantastic thing, I think, for a human being. She has a quick brain. She is really at her place. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she wants. She's pretty open. She's interesting to speak to. So for the viewers, she is participating in the ice shows. Just a little recap. She was commentating Russian nationals. She is writing some articles for Sports.ru. She has a column there. She is doing lots of volunteer work, some charity work. So to be honest, in terms of public, like as a public figure, she is probably the best at the moment from the world of figure skating.
I could see Lisa and Jinya debating together about figure skating, and I would want to see it. I want to see them on her YouTube, on Jinya's YouTube channel, debating the performances because they both have opinions, and it would be fun. And they seem to
Yes,
be good.
it just there's a question whether they're going to express their opinions, because if they say what they really think, they probably be crucified by the army of fans of either
Yes.
that skater or that skater. So
Let's get the update before we get into the competition. How are our other Russian girls doing? Anya Sherbakova, Angelovka, Championka, Olimpiyskiy. What is she doing now?
everybody is doing lots of ice shows at the moment.
They're all
Christmas
selling a
time,
lot of Chinese cars. Can we just talk like?
no, it's just because they're at the moment Russian car market is
Mhm.
very, very high influence of China. There are lots of Chinese cars imported because lots of big brands left the country, left the market after 2022. So there are new Chinese brands all over Russian market, and they needed the ambassadors. So figure skaters are extremely popular in Russia. Why not? So Anna is an ambassador for a Chinese brand. Zhenya Medvedev is an ambassador for a Chinese comic. They're doing some marketing activity, yes, but mainly I would say shows, because we have lots of them. They're paid pretty well. So especially New Year's time, Christmas time, lots of ice shows. I think this is the biggest thing what they're doing.
Now, what is your favorite doing, Sasha Trusova? Because Tarasova was really upset that she has no interest in competing. You could tell Tarasova was disappointed with her comments about her.
Was the question that what would I be happy if Sasha did, or like?
No, I was asking you, what is she doing right now? Like, what is her step? Remember, she was gonna be a journalist. She
is a star of Plushenko's ice shows.
Mhm.
I know it. You have to realize that, not you, but the viewers, that there are lots of ice shows in Russia, like dozens, I would say, and they need ice skaters. Sinitsyn and Katsalapov are there at Navka show. Kamila, Anya, Alina Zagitova are stars of Navka show, Tatiana Navka show, right? Ilya Averbuch has his own shows, and Evgeni Medvedev is there. Mikhail Koleda is skating at the shows. So pretty much everybody you don't see on the competitive ice is skating there. But at the same time, many of the current figure skaters are skating there. So this is the way to make money for them. This is very profitable for them. It increases their popularity at the same time, and they enjoy, being in the shows. Sasha is also studying journalism at the Moscow State University, which is like the biggest, I would say the best in the country. I don't know how deeply her studies are, but she's there. Sometimes she makes some comment on that. She keeps recording songs. Now she's a singer.
We love. You loved the song, didn't you? Where she had wings. Yes.
Now there's a second song now already. By the way, the song together with, I think, Sofia Samodelkina, who is trying to switch Russia for Kazakhstan.
Oh, okay. And they're
Yeah.
singing together.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look this up. I'm very excited
Well,
about
probably
that.
you shouldn't, but I mean.
Listen, I like Truzova because she has character. She keeps it interesting for us. So
Yeah, she is. I watched her interview with Zhenya Medvedeva. She's grown up. She
okay.
is more mature. She understands way more.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I mean, what they're doing, they're all skating in the ice shows.
And
They do
she's
not
single,
coach.
right? She's not with Kondratyuk anymore, right?
Allegedly, there was not official, press release or anything, but they're not seen together anymore. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, if I wanted to be at an ice show and I was a Terry girl, would it be more prestigious if I was to star in the Navka show or the Averbuch show? And who's going to pay me more money?
Some skaters like Lisa Tuktamisheva, for instance, they skate in both. It's not like they're rivals and they do not speak to each other. There was this big ice show, I think 2 weeks ago. Ilya Averbuch turned 50. And
yes, I saw Victor Petrenko in the audience with Marina Anisina sitting right next to Julin.
Averbuch was skating with Linichuk and Lobachova.
And was there? I need the video.
Yes, you need to watch this.
How did Natalia look? She's an Olympic champion herself.
She looks like a queen. You know that she is now a coach at Plushenko's academy?
Yes. Yes. Perfect. And she's going to be with Valery Angelopol?
Allegedly, yes. She says that she is working with them, but she doesn't know what happens next. But yes, she's coaching him at the moment. Yes.
Yeah. which is a good place for her. Listen, they needed her back. She needed something to do, but how is she going to do without Gennady? That is the real question. But
I don't know how influential she is in terms of, world of ice dance at the moment, but as everybody is expanding their, we have Eteri school, we have Plushenko school, and they're both expanding. Like Eteri is doing pairs now. She also planning to do the ice dance. She has boys, she has men, she has women, and Plushenko has boys, girls, ice dance now. And he also probably thinking about having pairs. So it's like two empires growing.
Well, Linachuk was big rivals with Marina Zueva back in the day when they were both students of Yelena Tchaikovskaya. I don't think that they were good friends. She still is going in the US. She has 3 very, very wealthy skaters that are all siblings that are with her. And then a team that I actually practice with where they ballroom dance and ice dance just moved to her. So she's very crafty, with Ilya Chichenko being really her technical guru. So these Linachuk, Zueva, you can't keep them down. So that's what I think is interesting about that. They love working. They love figure skating. So
sorry, I have to. I should have done it. Yeah, you can cut it.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. So
let's go back to the Russian nationals.
Yes. Well, we needed to get our, what's happening.
I'm ready. I'm very happy to talk about it.
Because in Eteri, I felt overall, it looks like Eteri has not been involved in the preparation of her skaters as much for the last years. And there are certain signs that you can tell.
Oh, yes, that's for sure. But at the same time, what I need to say is that there are not many that are performing at a highest level at the moment.
I want to ask you about Eteri and where her interest is. Obviously, she spent a lot of time in Virginia.
Of course, Eteri. Yeah, it always comes down to Eteri.
She is the most influential person in Russian figure skating. And when she is interested in Russian figure skating, the women perform better. And over the last 2 years, her own skaters have really slipped in terms of their performance for me.
No, but it has to do something with the international, they do not compete internationally. I'm absolutely sure that if Russia was still competing at the International Grand Prix or Worlds or Europeans, Eteri would have been really involved.
Mm-hmm.
But, the internal competitions are obviously not that interesting for her. So I think it's due to that fact.
Because I was speaking with Tom Dixon, and he's been working with Viviane, the Hungarian skater, and I didn't realize she had spent time in Hrustalny. But when she was there, Eteri was not very involved. It was, mostly Sergei and Daniil, because Eteri's been traveling more. But I think that I don't think that that's news. I think you can see it even in Petrosian. What I notice is that when Eteri is involved, her skaters look more confident. They have more performance. We see more interviews of them in the media where she's building them as stars. She never had a Kacheva or Petrosian really speak to the media that much. And we don't know them, though they've been winning. And how much is that international we used to see, what's that late night talk show where we would see Sherbakova, Trusova?
Yeah, but, this show is not on air anymore. This is another thing. Because we have people who did not support war, they're off the air. So that show is not on anymore, at least at the moment. Yes, they're not as present, and people probably do not know them as, they're not personalities in terms of, public figures. Petrosian, Katieva is injured, so she's not even competing, so nobody can see her on the ice. But to be really popular, you need international victories. You need medals. You need to be world champions. You need to beat those, foreigners. This is not my opinion. I'm just saying how it usually works in terms of, public popularity. So yes, they suffer from the fact they need to be competing internationally to be real stars. So.
Yeah. Petrosian, what did you think of her here? And I would be interested if Zhenya will interview Petrosian on her YouTube channel after it, 2 Armenian girls. And
I don't think that they, identify themselves as Armenian girls. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's true. I think they're
Ari
so
Zakarian is claiming all of them as his own. Okay, Ari Zakarian has his own Russian-Armenian Federation in his mind, and they are full members. Yes.
So Adeliia, again, to keep up the viewers with the, on date, she is the current champion of Russia. She won the nationals. She did 2 quads. She had a fall from quad flip, but she still did 2 quad toes. She is perfectionist. If I have to, describe her, she's really tough on herself. She's like, oh, I know, I have to do it. I need to be better. I'm so sorry. She keeps saying that, oh, dear viewers, dear fans, I'm so sorry I couldn't perform the way you expected me, probably. I don't know. She is young and nobody knows her, and there is no much public work. I mean, like PR, there's no PR happening. So we don't know what she's about, what personality.
Young for an Eteri skater. I mean, she's like 16, 17, right? She's
16, I think.
The clock is ticking for her. I mean, in a Terry world, she's almost done. So she needs to perform this year and yes.
She's allowed to compete internationally.
Yeah.
If Russia isn't banned. But this is the most interesting question for me. Who is going to represent Russia if and when Russia is allowed back?
Obviously,
because,
I would think Petrosian, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we have 1 quarter, we have 1 ticket. So it would be probably Petrosian. But I know that not many viewers, not many fans follow Russian nationals, but a very important thing I would like to stress is that it's not only Eteri girls there.
Of course.
It's definitely getting interesting this season because they're different schools, different girls. And I mentioned those names at the previous episode, but Anna Frolova, she's number 5 at Russian nationals. Ksenia Sinitsina, she's number 4 at Russian nationals. These are the girls that I'm absolutely sure all your viewers would love. They are beautiful in terms of presentation, in terms of skating skills, their second score should be way higher, but they're very interesting to watch. It's pleasure to watch them. So I'm really, really advising everybody to find some videos of them from these nationals and to have a look, because this is worth representing Russia at the international arena. They're different. They're probably the girls that you expect to skate when you say women figure skating. You probably have this in mind.
I agree with you, definitely. And the one thing I'll say about Petrosian is that oftentimes when she misses her quads, she has very choppy skating skills going into it, which makes the rhythm of the jumps very difficult when you're doing these, and you add adrenaline to it. And she can often seem slightly out of control when she goes into some of her quads because she is so demanding of herself and she is so aggressive that she goes in, especially on the quad flip and her entry, and you think she doesn't have a prayer. I mean, she's throwing herself in the air to get it around, which is impressive, but she's...
But yes, my understanding is that probably the way she, twists herself into a jump, if she grows and when she grows, obviously, she would have to fight for that quad flip and for this quad toe, because she already said that she lost triple axel 2 weeks ago. That's why she didn't do it at the nationals, and she seemed to be very upset about this, obviously. But for me, it's interesting how she, the puberty is definitely on the way, and how she fights that. I don't know what happened.
Isn't the word pubertat?
Pubertat. It's like puberty. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The one thing I notice, if you watch, we were talking about Maya, and we talked about growing and whatnot, and Maya never had great technique, and she had pre-rotation with her head, especially you would see it on her quad toe and sow, right? But now even on the Lutz, she's going back and she's looking almost all the way behind her to try to get the body to rotate. It really doesn't help, but it is a thing that skaters will do.
She struggles, she fights for every jump, and she's not very successful with them. But we'll see what happens with the daily jumps. I wish her all the best, obviously. But I'm not very enthusiastic, and I would say not enthusiastic. I'm not very positive that she survives puberty with no losses. So we've seen that. Why I'm really surprised you're not asking about Kamila Valieva. I expected
you're going in the order.
20 minutes before that.
Well, I wanted to talk about other people. I have my own opinions on Valieva that I would never say publicly. But
Let me ask you a question. What do you
yeah.
think of Sofia Muravieva? That's a Plushenko student, Plushenko skater.
Yeah.
She won bronze at Russian nationals. She did two successful triple axels, one in short, one in free.
I don't find that she has anything special about her as a skater that would stand out internationally. She would obviously place decently because of her triple axels, but I find her interpretation of music to be lacking. The overall look of her skating is lacking. She obviously has better skating skills than Petrosian. I find her to be like a workhorse, you know, like she is someone that delivers consistently every single time. So I think that that is definitely in her favor. I don't think that she is the most expressive skater. I don't know that I see the biggest future, but I will say, Plushenko has had many skaters come in his academy, right? Trusova, Kostornaia.
Trusova left his academy, and she was Sokolovskaya. Yeah, okay.
Right. But what I'm saying is, she is his one skater that has really just steadily worked, improved. She doesn't have a lot of drama. She doesn't have a lot of theatrics. I mean, where is Veronika Zhilina? What is happening, right? Like it's up and down.
Injuries.
Yeah. But Muravieva, she shows up every time to the competition and she delivers within herself. And she gains confidence, and I think that she will have a bright future because she is so consistent. And I think she's consistent mentally, is what it would have to indicate, that she is always very precise and very consistent.
I like your comment. I would personally love to see Sofia, in some other programs, because for me, she's skating to pretty much the same music and pretty much, you know, putting the same image. And it would be interesting to see her in a more energetic, probably, you know, program. But she got her medal. That's what counts, right?
I want to see her speak more to the press. I want to see her do more shows, give more interviews so that she opens up her personality so that we know her more, because to me it's missing on the ice. I don't feel like I know who she is. And other than someone that is very serious and hardworking, but I think that she has more
She
inside.
is not Alena Kostornaia in terms of speaking to media. So
I know. I'm sorry. You know, and my queen, you know, I mean, listen, do you know why so many Western fans were into these Russian nationals?
Because of Kostornaia?
Yes.
Whoa. That's interesting to know.
I don't know if the Russians realize how popular Tuktamisheva and Kostornaia are in the West.
I think they're not aware. That's interesting perspective.
Those are the two.
Share more.
Yeah, we will get comments on our YouTube, on Facebook. You know, the Russians are banned, but I miss Tuktamisheva. Meanwhile, Tuktamisheva admitted that she took meldonium when it was legal, right? But like, she is the one, they love her. The public loves Tuktamisheva, and the public loves Kostornaia. For different reasons. I mean, Kostornaia...
obviously for different reasons, right?
But similar, like, Tuktamisheva, she's a survivor. She has been through it. She's doing that triple
And
axel.
she probably was opposed to some Eteri girls. And she lost her fight for the Olympic spots and things like that. So
she was robbed. They love her. They are behind Lisa. If people, you know, she didn't say that she retired, right? She said she was taking a year off. So in their mind, if Russia comes back for international competitions, there's a spot for Lisa if she wants it, right?
But
I mean,
this would be the wisest thing the Russian Federation of Figure Skating would do, to send Lisa.
Yes.
Because if they send some 15, no, not 15, obviously, but 16, 17-year-old Eteri girl, we have a brand new Russian national champion, right? Again, that would be considered like, okay, it's another girl, ex-junior. When it comes to Lisa, she has international support. She is a symbol, you know, of continuing, of fighting, of going on. And I think it would be very wise to send her. I mean, if she wants to compete, if she retains her triple axel, that would be a very politically wise thing to do.
Can
also I find the petition somewhere?
Yes, and it's her sense of humor. It's the program she does with all the musical instruments. It's everything that she does that people like her character and her personality and who she is.
When she tells a story on the ice, you feel it's her story. It's not like some choreographer taught her, put the hand this way or just look this way because it would be nice to do that. She feels what she performs. And I think that the audience feels that and, buys that.
Would she have the interest to come back? If Mishin called her, Secretly called her and said, Lisa,
I hope so. If the international competitions are back on the map, I'm absolutely sure she would be interested in doing that, especially when we start talking about the Olympics, because she hasn't been to any of the Olympic Games, and probably this is the thing she would, love to do. But who knows how long Russia will be banned. For 2 more seasons, probably Elizaveta will find something else interesting to do. So far, I do believe this possible. She is capable of retaining her triple axel, that's for sure. So,
Was Tarasova okay with how she looked? She thought she looked good, ready for the shows. When you meet someone like Tarasova or Zmievskaya, they look you up and down. When you walk into the eyes go, this is so everything that they are thinking immediately. So they took a picture together.
The way they've been brought up, this is their school. All they know is that if you gain 500 grams out of the rink.
This is what I don't understand. The biggest compliment is when a Russian coach tells you, you look dry. Whatever that expression is, like you have no water in your body. That's when they think you look the best. They love it. Yeah. So it's not healthy, but yes. Now let's talk. You wanted to bring up Valieva. Let's go there.
I was just surprised that we survived for quite some time without mentioning her.
This honestly, I have to tell you about Eteri's success. I don't believe Eteri will be successful as a women's coach. Really successful. I mean, Petrosian won, but who cares, right? Like she wasn't dominant, right?
Yeah.
I think that the situation with Kamila Valieva is actually so distracting to the entire figure skating world on every level. I think that the international world is furious to see her skating while she is still on trial. While this is all happening, it's almost like the Russians are thumbing their nose at the rest of the world to say, look at her. And they announce her as Olympic champion. They announce Kondratyuk as Olympic champion.
No. Wait. That thing about announcing Kamila as an Olympic champion, that happened in one commercial. And when they were airing this commercial at Russian Nationals, they cut it out. It was not there.
I wonder if they know what we were talking about, because Kondratyuk has also been announced as an Olympic champion. So it is
technically they are allowed to let Kamila compete internally. They are not violating.
Tanya Harding can say that she won the 1994 nationals, but everyone on earth knows that title was taken away from her, right? I think everyone knows that this title with Kamila is on shaky ground, and it's not just that they can't do it, it's should they do it, right? Like, that's
the biggest question. That's the discussion, I understand. But let me just advocate just another point of view. Kamila definitely has been through a lot.
Yes.
In Beijing. After everything, breakout and...
Let's be honest, she went through a lot before Beijing, in that group, in that rank.
Yeah, I know, but we don't know. Let's talk about what we know about. It's been a lot for a 15-year-old, for a minor. It's been a nightmare. Mm-hmm. When I saw her at the test skates last season with that, hood free skate, I was really shocked, because for me, it was like, why are you putting her up to that? That's torture. But then I changed my mind, because I see that actually skating and being in the environment that is familiar to her, skating and going through all the competitions, in the mix zone and everything, gave her the feeling of, normal things keep happening in my life. If you locked her probably in her room without letting her out or compete or, being present at the competition, I think it would be really, really tough on her, because that would be the end of her life, even without the results of the trial. So probably psychologically, it saved her. But I understand why the international community sees that as an insult, because it feels like, Russia doesn't care and they keep doing what they want. But if we're talking about Kamila as a minor, then probably it was a smart thing to do if we're talking about her psychological condition. So we'll see what happens after the results of the trial I announced. She already she doesn't have a Russian national title because that
Correct.
one was taken away from her, and Trusova is called the Russian national champion of that year. I don't know what happens to her titles at the Russian circuit. I don't know what happens to her prize money. I don't know. We'll have to wait until, the
I think
cusp.
she's fine. I think they will make sure that she is financially compensated and will shut her mouth for the rest of her life in some way, and never go to the West. That is what I predict. And I
So
don't
we
mean
will
to
not see her at opera, right?
No. No, I think she is going to be very well protected in Russia. No matter what happens, she will be okay. I have to say that I think that she is bad for Russian skaters. She's good for publicity, but I think in terms of the competition, it's clear that the judges feel a responsibility to help her because her skating skills, as she's gotten taller, are quite labored. She looks very tired. And I don't remember the last time a Russian lady did a solo triple toe and triple sow and sort of had to fight for them since Irina Slutskaya, right? Like she is technically, it's a real step back because she cannot perform what she used to. And I mean, she was trying so hard on that triplets, triple toe, the camera angle when she was doing it into the Christmas tree and the boards were open. I didn't know what was about to happen when she did the triplets, triple toe.
Yeah,
I just, it's becoming really nerve-wracking to watch. Last year, she was pulling off the quads. This year, it didn't happen. I
no,
can't
it
see.
didn't happen at the competition, but she landed quad toe at the 6-minute warm-up.
Yeah.
We know it's like technically there, although she couldn't land it in competition. What she said in an interview, I think actually a couple of days ago, is that last year when she started to grow and her body started changing, she thought that, oh, what's happening to me? That's quite a change. And only this year she realized that that was just the beginning of the change, and it keeps happening. She was not ready. She was not prepared for that. She understands that, with the new body of hers, she needs to adjust, to adapt. But to be honest, I understand that it's not Kamila that everybody remembers, but it shouldn't be the Kamila everybody remembers. It should be a new Kamila. You mentioned that you actually were praising Eteri for women's skating. Finish that phrase. Was that because that she knows how to work with Kamila?
I wasn't praising it, Terry. I was saying that when she coaches and she is involved, I think she raises the level of her skaters. And I actually don't see her very involved. And I think
I thought you said that. I thought you said that with Kamila, we can say that actually that's not a
I
girl's
think
figure
that she
skating
is
anymore, but that's a
maybe
women's figure.
in a previous show. Maybe I do think that she's learning how to use older skaters, right? Unfortunately, I don't know that Kamila, it's just so weird. Do they want Kamila to return to international competitions? If it happens, it'll be a circus, right? If she were to
No,
return.
I don't, but okay, let's pretend, let's
No.
say it this way. What if the verdict in February, oh, hopefully
Mhm.
earlier, is that she is considered guilty, and the
Mhm.
ban would have been like, let's say 18 months or even 2 years,
Yeah.
starting from the violation date, not from
Yeah.
the verdict date, but the violation date. That would mean that Kamila, by the end of the season,
Mhm.
is free of any charges and she can compete internationally. Do you think that if she goes to Grand Prix circuit,
Mhm.
she would be booed?
I think it would be mixed. I think there would be boos and there would be cheers. And I think that ultimately it would be cheers because I think there would be so much press coverage around the world about her skating again internationally. I think it would become such an event, right? That it would be Valieva is competing at the Grand Prix France, right? Or wherever, and all
America.
skate. I don't know if they're that daring, right? I don't, right? But let's say that she goes to Skate America or France. I think if she came to America, the media would be so bad that they wouldn't do it, right? Like that would be not, they would have to go to a different maybe China, right? She would have to China.
China
Yeah.
and Russia, for instance, if Russia is
Yeah.
allowed to have a
Yeah.
Grand Prix.
I think
Okay.
she'd have to go to China, right? And I think it would be such a circus. She would have to be in the best shape of her life. She would have to come back in the best condition and healthy to back. Otherwise, It could be a disaster. But I kind of think that the federation would be willing to put her out there if she looked good. If she doesn't look good, I don't think that they'll send her.
Yeah, who knows? We again have to remind everybody that Russia has only one quarter, and it's not going to be Kamila to that one quarter, no matter what the verdict is. But for me, it will be really interesting to see her career, what she can show on the ice after everything is over. Because, like, officially, if she serves the punishment, she is allowed to compete after that, right? Why shouldn't she?
So let's say next year, Valieva competes against Tuktamisheva. Would judges domestically feel pressure to score her higher? Because here, I don't fully believe that Valieva was the third best at this competition. I don't.
Of course, her second score helped a lot. She even got the 975.
The DOEs are quite high. Yeah.
Yeah. So she shouldn't have been scored that high. That's for sure. But I think that Russian judges internally will support that skater who would be chosen to represent Russia at the international events.
Yeah.
If that would be Lisa, then they will score Lisa over Kamila. So that will be all the question of, politics.
And I think the same thing has always happened. It happened with Shcherbakova against Lisa maybe years ago, if you argue that. But yes, I question whether or not she's ready. But I do think, Frolova, Sinitsina, I enjoyed them much more at these championships.
They were so happy to get their scores. It was like they saw them and they was like, whoa, so much. And when you see a Terry girls, this is my question, they are not that happy even if they get like huge scores. So it's really nice to see Anya and Ksusha really happy about being 4, being number 5, being, Russian national team, hopefully. They made it to Russian national team. So we'll see, but I'm very, very eager to see them on the international arena. That's for sure.
How about Akacheva? Do you expect to see her back?
I don't know. I'm not her doctor, but I don't like the fact that it keeps happening. One in the same scenario keeps happening. I really feel sorry for Sofia because she is talented. She could have her, piece of her spotlight internationally. But so far, it seems like there's nothing happening for her. We'll see. I really hope that she gets better after the injury and she, fights back. But there will be more girls being there and ready for her. So I don't know.
Well, you love ice dance, and Julien did say that Stepanova and Bukin would be the best in the world by a mile. I don't know that I agreed with that, but I was impressed by them. Where do you think they would fit in right now in the international level?
It very highly depends on the fact if Russian judge is allowed to be back. This is
Peter Kubiernev, the judge that is known in circles for negotiating with judges publicly and then sitting in the kiss and cry with Julien. That is what he is known for.
To be honest, Russian ice dance is really like a biggest concern for me at the moment. Not only because they do not skate the way I expect Russian dance to, to perform. It's also because they do not understand, probably, I don't see that happening. They don't understand their real place in today's world of ice dance. They think they would be fighting for, for the podium, but probably it's not very realistic. And I really do not like those comments. Stepanova and Bukin probably would, top 5. I would say they would fight for top 5.
I think they would be better than Lila and Lewis if the judge was on the panel, right? I'm sorry.
It very much depends on the panel, okay?
If there is a Russian judge, and we have to stop. When we talk about ice dance, after we talk about Stepanova and Bukin, I want to ask you about Spain. So because you're the one person I want to talk about this with, and I haven't asked you offline. Okay. So, okay. This happened, right? I do think Stepanova and Bukin could maybe sort of fight with the Italians and Piper and Paul, but I don't think that they're as good as either team. I don't
think so. I think, first of all, very much depends on if Russians are allowed to be back. There's less motivation for Alexandra and Ivan at the moment to train the way they used to train at the Olympic season. If they invested as much time and, Sasha Alexandra just had a baby
Mhm.
in last February, so it takes a little bit more time for her to, you know, be back in shape. She's in fantastic shape. She's doing,
That's it. Yeah.
of course, but it requires a little bit more of motivation. You know, if they're told that, okay, Grand Prix is there for you, the international series, probably that would have been a different game. Probably they would have skated differently. At the moment, I don't see them fighting for the world podium. No.
But I was impressed with their performance. The one who I'm not impressed by is Muravieva, who was last year's champion. To me, she is very weak in skating skills, and if I had to place her, it would be below Tiffany Zahorsky and Jonathan Guerrero, you know, in terms of what they achieved. I think they are better than Muravieva. And for someone that has so much personality, to me, their program is all one level, and that we don't actually see Muraviev's acting ability and what she could perform, because they just seem to not pay a lot of attention to this team.
I don't see good programs. The biggest problem for me is that I don't see programs that you would love, and probably programs that would open them as skaters. For me, that's the biggest problem, but obviously the skating skills as well. And also the fact that all of them are skating at Julian's team at the moment, which is not good for a world of, you know, ice dance. There needs to be some competition there. But the most disturbing thing, once again, is that they seem to think they would fit in at the podium right away. And I think they need some reality check.
I think the biggest thing is that the federation allowed Kaganovska and Angela Paul to split, and I think that they should try to get them back together with a counselor and a therapist. And what this is, to me, like Ilenik and Katsalapov. This should not be
okay.
to happen.
But this would never have happened if the international competitions were in place for them. They would definitely, you know, stay together. But at the moment, everything is open. They keep exchanging partners, exchanging coaches. So I don't know. That's bad for the field of Russian ice dance. That's for sure.
All right, I want to ask you about Spanish ice dance and the politics of it all, because based on the rules, Sada Hurtado's team is going to get to go to the World Championships and the Europeans because they had a higher technical score, even though they lost the nationals in Spain to Olivia Smart and Tim Deek. I have never felt that Tim Deek is anywhere close to Olivia's skating ability, and I've always felt that he seems very wild and like a horse that needs to be tamed by Patrice Lazon. You know, like he just needs the whip. I mean, his skating skills, his posture, his demeanor, everything does not seem very International Academy of Montreal. You know, he seems
yeah, but you have to bear in mind that he came from another school of figure skating, and it takes time, especially for the ice dance team, you know, to blend, to get the chemistry or charisma or even same skating skills. But I want to advocate, I want to defend Tim, because I also see potential in him as a partner, and I see that he's fast, he adds speed to the team, and there's lots of potential in him, and hopefully they can work it out as a team. So I wouldn't call that a mismatch. They look good together, and I see that they can do really well.
Who do you think her ideal partner would be?
I don't know. All we have now is what she, you know,
has. But I think if I were to think of like an ideal partner for her, Zach Donahue. That's right. But it could never happen because he could never compete for, first of all, he's retired and he's married and, you know, is starting his career. But I'm talking about a guy that's as strong as she is, right? And that would have kind of the same kind of chemistry and character for her to play off of. Yeah. And I just don't see it in her and Tim that
they need a little bit of more of a balance within the team. But I see that this is possible. And I'm definitely Team Olivia, Team Dick. So
I like them, but I'm not sure if he's dimming her light or not. I don't know.
We have to wait. It's only been like, what, 4 months they're competing together. So
this is a special talent, right? And the other thing that I wanted to ask is Sada Hurtado. Okay. You know, Marie-France and Montreal, they are so smooth with everything, right? You know what they think, but they don't say it, right? We knew that Marie-France did not like Alexander Julin, but they never said it. Okay. And everything at the International Academy of Montreal is very polite and polished, and you don't see them infighting. But Sada Hurtado was once partnered with Adrian Diaz, and
Okay.
at a competition, they split up in the kiss and cry where she stood up and they screamed at each other. And Marie-France was sitting there in the middle of it with them. What is Sada's relationship with Marie-France like? Like, is there, because then she went to Julien and they became arch enemies, right? What is that dynamic?
I don't know. I don't know. And commenting on the case with the Spanish Federation making their decision, I have a problem with the criteria, of course, because I
Why
think
is Spain so, okay, in your opinion, was Spain a swing judge for Gabby and Guillaume against Sinitsa and Katsalapov? Because Spain became so important in ice dance, and it was ostensibly about Sada Hurtado and Olivia Smart, only it wasn't, right? It was about the control of the judge for
yes, of
higher
course it
level.
is. But
Yes.
still coming back to the thing that happened to Olivia at the nationals, at the Spanish nationals, I think the problem is not with the skaters. I think the problem is with the criteria first, because having technical scores the only criteria, it's insane.
Mhm.
And but the biggest problem is that the criteria was announced November 16th or something like that. Only then, when the competitive season of Olivia and Tim was almost over. So I
Mhm.
don't think that's fair. At the same time, I think that the second team, Sofia and Asaf, they won. I mean, that's a fair play. They won according to the announced criteria. So probably that's the I really would love to ask some questions to the coaches of the Montreal Academy. Did they calculate the tests? Did they calculate the necessary points for qualifying? Because there's some kind of misunderstanding probably, or everybody was pretty sure Olivia is going to the European Championship, right? So I don't know who didn't calculate it good enough.
I think Sada Hurtado might have been calculating Olivia and Tim's technical score. I think it's possible, okay? But I have to say that I think that there's something else going on here with Russians out of international competition.
Okay.
I think that there are certain countries that have opened up as these outposts for band skaters, right? Italy has been on the table, Hungary, Spain, Georgia. And I think that some countries, they have their own judges, right? How does
Okay.
Spain feel about, how does an average Spanish judge feel that the national champion in women's is American, Amelia Murdoch, and that Olivia and Tim are their national champions in ice dance where she's British and he's German, right? She used to be British with a Spanish
No,
partner.
but they took them with the open eyes.
Yeah,
They knew
yes,
who is going to represent
the
Spain.
Federation did, right? But if you're a judge and you're at these cocktail parties, right? And you're
Yeah.
Sada Hurtado, I think all you have to do is, why don't you go say hola to Olivia? See how much Spanish she knows. I think that
I don't
you,
think no, I don't think it's going that way. I think it's
oh, if it's an
I
ice
think
dance,
judges are
she
not that
learned.
independent. They didn't no. First of all, we do not know what happens at those banquets, right? Second, I'm absolutely sure it's decided at the higher level, way higher, not when, some coaches approach them
Listen,
or
Marie-France didn't even go. That was the biggest mistake. I look at what
it
happened this
shows
year.
that they were absolutely sure everything is already decided.
And I think that was their biggest mistake. I think Spain, for that school, you cannot keep your eye off of the swing vote in Spain. And I think that Sada Hurtado learned a lot from Julien when she was in Russia. And I would pay very close attention to how coaches speak to judges and those kind of relations. And I think Montreal may have taken their eye off of the prize and their foot off of the gas for that long, right? To just get a
Yes.
little overconfident.
But let's not forget that if the Twizzles were
Mhm.
clean, nice and clean, we wouldn't have this conversation now.
But how often has Olivia Smart missed the Twizzles with one of her partners? Very often. Yes, there have been,
Okay,
yeah.
but still, it's a question of good planning that, Sofia and Asaf, they went to Bosphorus Cup when the judging is definitely not the same as at the Skate America. So I don't know. I just hope we will have a chance to see Olivia and Tim. And my biggest hope is that they do not split up and they keep skating and we'll see them next season. Even though I was really going to see them at the Europeans,
Yeah.
I was looking very much forward.
I was looking forward to seeing them as well, but I think this is maybe the kick in the pants that they need to get to the higher level next year. And sometimes you need to swallow
Survive that. If they overcome that, if it makes them stronger, we'll see a brand new team next season. I mean, the same people, but brand new in terms of, chemistry and,
You have to swallow the bitterness, right? But what about Annabelle Morozov? Do you expect to see her skating for France? Because Anton Spiridonov is available. Obviously, he skated with Lorraine McNamara. I know he's looking for a partner, and he's skated in Russia before. His parents live in Florida. He's in Florida. Annabelle's father lives in Florida. Is that a possibility? I'm not saying that it is, but like I would imagine he would be a hot ticket, of someone to.
I think that Annabelle had too many partners already to have a new one.
Yes.
But we have to calculate from another side. Which national team is ready to accept Annabelle with whoever she decides to skate with? US team seems to be pretty packed, isn't it?
Yes. It only going to get more competitive with nationals coming. It's very tight.
French team seems to be pretty packed.
Okay, could they get the third spot? If Papadakis and Cizeron come back and win, right, the Worlds next year in 2025. Let's say that they are.
There is Lopareva Brissot.
Yep.
There is Dupayage. There is Lucie and Theo. There are lots of good teams who are skating, and they've been skating together for quite some time. I don't know. I haven't asked French Federation, but why would they take Annabelle and Igor? They have a lot of teams.
I mean, I think competition always makes you stronger, right? The more, that's the Terry model of having pairs and but would it actually behoove Annabelle to stay in Russia? And because to me, Muravieva is very beatable. And if they want to be the number 2 team in Russia, let's say there's only one quota. Okay, they don't make it because Stepanova makes it. But could they use Stepanova if she came back next year to get a second spot for the Olympics? I think that would behoove Annabelle. Can Annabelle stay with a partner for 2 years with her father involved? I don't think so.
That's the biggest question. But at the same time, look at the scores Annabelle and Igor got at the Russian Grand Prix before that incident at the 6-minute warm-up. They were not scored that high, not as high as everybody expected them to be. So I think there was also a signal, there was also a message that nobody sees them as number 2 at the national team. And who knows when Russia will have 3 quarters. I think it will take forever to get 3 quarters back, especially with Kaganovska and Angelopoulos split. I mean,
I would look at getting the second quota. You know what I would do?
What?
I would have Nikolai send her to Julin. And I think it would kill him to do it because they were rivals, obviously, as coaches, right? But I think if he wants his daughter to succeed, I would send her to Julin's camp, have Nikolai help with the choreography of everyone. Maybe he could help with Stepanova and Bukin again, which he did help in the past. And I would put everybody together.
The easier way is to get her to any other national team. That would be easier. Because
where would you go? Are you Hungarian? Is she feeling
Jewish? I mean, probably to keep working with France to get her on the national team in France. But because, in Russia at the moment, Nikolai probably cannot boast that big influence that he used to have. And I don't see his influence in Annabelle's scores this fall. It didn't happen. We didn't see that support.
Could she become Georgian?
That's too many Russian teams switching for Georgia. That's enough.
I think she would be a great Georgian. Could you imagine Georgian nationals, Eteri Nikolai? Oh my goodness. It would be so good. You would love it. You would love it. Don't be against it. I'm just saying
that would be a drama that we all love in ice dance, right?
They need an open door. And what I'm seeing is that France is kind of closed. America is closed. Russia has its challenges. So I'm looking at one of the more eastern federations, Azerbaijan. I think he could call up Igor Lukanin and they could, if they have $15,000, they could get Annabelle citizenship very quickly. She has to go to Baku for a day, and I think she could get her citizenship. It would
Annabelle has already too many passports to choose from, so
why not? She does not. Isabella Tobias, Allison Reed, these girls have more passports. They're looking at her like she's a beginner. Okay, she's from Hackensack. They were from Hackensack. They had like
you definitely look like you want to see Annabelle on competitive ice.
Yes, because she's a talent, and I want to see the charisma and the talent there. Yes, of course.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat with you here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now let's discuss the pairs, because talking about talent.
You want to start with Kostornaia?
Sure. Yes. But there are so many favorites I have in pairs.
Don't pretend you're ready to talk about anybody else before you want to talk about.
Oh my God. I am loving my daughter. You know, she is, you know, inside I have two sides of my personality, right? I have Anna Angeloka is on the one shoulder, good person, right? And then we have Kostornaia on the other. I think combined, maybe I'm Zhenya, right? That's who closest, but you know, because I think she's kind of a combination of the two. I love this girl.
Let's first give some input. Russian nationals, pairs, Kostornaia she was number 5 in the free, but overall, of course, she was not that place.
In America, she would have been in first place by a mile. Okay, we have
to be honest, out of 10 competitors in Russian pairs field at the nationals, 9 were that good that they could get a medal at any international competition, if not gold. Yes. We have highly competitive field, pairs field. They're good, they're different. At the same time, when I was watching these nationals, I didn't see much, you know, enjoyment. They were as stressed as the Terry girls usually.
Yes.
Very concentrated, not a single smile. A lot is at stake, that's for sure. But to be honest, even women event was way more interesting for me than the pairs. It's an incredible level of competition. We saw a quad twist. We saw really good programs there. But at the same time, something was missing. I think this passion and love for figure skating, just pure enjoyment was not there for me.
Yes, I think this was all about competition. And this was the big showdown between Boikova and Kovlovskii against Mishina and Galliamov after they switched. But let's start with Kostornaia. She went back to her short program. She's so dramatic, right? I remember I was saying earlier.
Don't you love that? Doesn't everybody love that? She makes it interesting, right?
I wanted her to do the she needed to do the 4 seasons program for the free instead of this Hunger Games. I think it was atrocious. I think her lines were terrible. I don't think that the pantsuit worked on her. And I thought that her lifts had ugly and weak positions, you know?
That's you shouldn't switch your program a couple of weeks before the nationals.
She can do it. She does it all the time, right?
But that's not, hasn't history proved her that probably this is not the smartest move? For me, it's very interesting for how long she would be able to stick around. Because if it's interesting for Alena, she's in the game. And she has potential. She's good potential. I love the way she skates. The pair elements are not as good as they, you know, are pairs who skate for 10 years together. But I would love to have her at the circuit for a number of years because she makes it interesting. She makes comments everybody loves or hates. And actually, that's a beautiful story that she keeps going, that she decided to stay in the figure skating field. She obviously likes what she's doing, and that's a challenge. How many skaters of that generation you see accepting that challenge and doing some new stuff? So I really, really cheer for her.
I cheer for her too. I also cheer for Georgi Kunitsa because if he does not...
Oh, you feel for him.
I feel for him because if he does not improve by like November,
okay.
I think she will be looking for a better husband and better partner. Okay, I'm serious. I mean, I'm joking, but I'm serious. I think that I don't think he is at her level. I think we all see her level of talent, and she's improving so rapidly.
But it takes 2.
It does.
You know, it's pairs. It's not 2 singles. It's a pair team. They should start from scratch. It's not like there's a queen with the, you know, with a crown and just some, you know, regular person accompanying her. They should become a team to succeed. Yeah. If they manage, that would be interesting.
She is the Grand Prix final champion, right? Like this is
She's the European champion.
European champion, right? This is a real talent who is coming into pairs. There's not going to be someone who I think that her learning curve and
She should
talent,
lower her expectations of the scores, that's for sure.
absolutely
Because
not.
she was like, I expected to be scored way higher. But that there are two people in the team, and there are pair elements which she is not that good at.
Mhm.
So, some reality check again wouldn't hurt.
Do you think she'll stay with the current coaches or look for greener pastures eventually?
I don't know. With Alena, you never know. I would never place $1 on any decision Alena makes.
Are you glad that she's in pairs? Because you treated it like a joke in the beginning when I was like, she is going to be a pair champion.
Of course, because Alena is so, let's put it this way. I believe in her, but I never believed in her doing one and the same thing for many years. She needs to be, it needs to be interesting for her. As long as it is interesting for her, like challenging, or she's rewarded, this is also very important for her, that she will be in this field. But yes, you're right, I didn't believe in that, and I'm still not very positive that she stays for many years in pairs. We'll see.
I want her to work on her lifts. Alyona, I was very upset by her lift positions. I didn't think that the legs were very extended very beautifully for someone with your level of talent.
Twists also requires some work, but it's logical. It's only their first season together. We are measuring them as if we're scoring them as if they are like, I don't know, Mishina and Galliamov. They are not. They need more years together.
I would like her to have more ballet training. I have a Vaganova ballet teacher now. I'm working with Lynette ballet for figure skaters.
It's good for pretty much everybody. I mean,
Yes.
in terms of figure skating, I would really suggest it to pretty much everybody.
The lines and the posture of some of these pair skaters was not up to Russian standards. They did not look like Taras and Morozov. Yeah.
So are you team Mishina Galliamov or team Boikova Kozlovsky?
I have to tell you, I'm team Mishina Galliamov because Boikova Kozlovsky have always had strong desire, right? They were almost beating Sway in hand in 2020. That was the ultimate peak of their career, right? They have the desire to be good, but I don't think that they have the goods to back it up, right? Neither one. Mishina and Galliamov are better skaters. And it starts from the skating skills to me. Just look at Galliamov, I think, is the strongest out of the four. But if I were to compare Mishina to Boikova, Mishina's her glide over the ice, her posture, everything that she does is just so much prettier than Boikova, to me.
Okay.
But I get a strong desire from Boikova to win, but I think sometimes the desire is so strong that it gets in her way.
This is what I was going to say, that sometimes she wants to win too much.
Yes, and it's similar to Diana Stilano.
In the way of her performance, yes. Mishina and Galliamov, a fantastic team, no questions. I just hope I will see another style, some new programs, because they can do better. There's so much talent there. There's so much, technical skills and, the technical base that they have. They're so good that definitely they should try something else.
The classical style doesn't work for them. I think we've seen it twice, right? The snowstorm program that they did the Olympic year, and now it doesn't work. He needs something fun to get his personality really shine. And we saw that with Elvis. We saw it with the Queen.
Elvis, yes. This is what I was talking.
What I noticed is that their transitions weren't so smooth and sharp to me. It looked like they trained the elements very, very intensely, but I felt like the whole program was lacking, and I was surprised for a Tamara team at this level, at this stage of the season. To me, it still looked unfinished. You talked earlier a lot about skaters because they have domestic events instead of national events looking a little bit weaker. Where I just noticed is in the finishing details. I saw that it looks like Mishina, Galliamov, and Boikova and Kozlovsky are both training more difficult elements than is in their program for when they have international competitions.
Boikova and Kozlovsky just showed us their quad throw at the, that was on Instagram, of course, but still, it is something they're working on. And Mishina and Galliamov also have lots of challenging elements they're working on at the moment. I think that could affect the preparation process. They also had a feeling that they didn't need to be as polished or as ideal as they usually need to be at the international arena. So I don't know. I'm really interested in the way Eteri and her team develop Alexandra and Mitri. We'll see how that goes. But I think that two strong couples, they keep pushing each other. And that's definitely good for sport.
I think, okay, I have two comments. Okay. I believe that if Eteri were more involved, we would have seen that quad throw.
I'm not sure it's Eteri's prerogative to work on quad throw.
I think it's Eteri's prerogative to dominate.
But yes, but this season again, what are they fighting for? The Russian national title? Each of the team has a Russian national title. So
yeah, but she has this beautiful rink without any stars, as far as I'm concerned. The government built her this gorgeous ice palace for what? Who does she have that we need to?
The palace was built for the previous achievements.
Yes, because the current achievements are nothing, as far as I'm concerned. You know,
if Russians are allowed back, she will bring some achievements. That's for sure.
Well, I want like some achievements from Eteri. I think she is disappointing me. And I
Arseniy Fedotov?
No, I would like Osokina to become more of a pair champion. I see the greatness.
Is a diva. Whoa. There was such a drama. I just want to tell a bit more about that. At the Russian national, at the free skate, lace at the partner's boot broke. So they had to take a 3-minute break and, reskate the free. And that's why they scored really bad, because it was -5 points at this, obviously. She is so beautiful. And she's so talented. She's so gifted, it turns out, as a pair skater. She has this look, and I'm definitely like cheering for them. They're a big fan. I see the potential in, a diva. We need a diva in pairs.
She has character. She has character, is what you would say. Like
Alexandra and Anastasia Mishina, all, believe me, they do have a character. Quite
Mishina,
a character.
the best. Mishina, you wouldn't know, right? She looks sweet. She looks so.
But I have a feeling that everything that team accomplished was mainly because Anastasia decided that should happen.
I think that they package her in a way that looks so matronly this season, and it ages her, and she's a young, beautiful girl, and I just felt like everything looked too staid, too boring for her, right?
Yeah, they decided to play safe. They decided to do what they are good for, that they're known for. But I really hope we'll see something more fun from them.
But I have to say, Tamara Nikolaevna, she looks youthful, young, energetic, inspired.
Yeah, you see passion. It's not like, oh, I'm so tired of this figure skating. You see fire in her eyes. That's so valuable. It's precious.
And she's recovered from the death of her husband, right? Like she's really been through a lot, if you think about it, right? Like, and
I think that work keeps her going. That's for sure. She's happy at the rink. She knows that she is needed, and she knows that she can still, fight with Eteri
and win.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
I believe in her. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Where do you think the next great pairs are coming from? Between after Mishina, Galliamov, and Boikova, who is on your radar?
Osokina, that's for sure.
Yeah,
because I think they have the guts, they have the character. They are technically equipped, they have the character, and after some victories, after they realize they can be confident, that could be a fantastic duo.
Yeah. What did you make of the men? Oh, I want to say one thing. You really impressed me more than anything at this competition tomorrow. I'm going to say why.
What?
The way that she congratulated Boikova, who left her, who threw a credential at her at the World Championships, right? Who clearly thinks that she deserved to be first.
Alexandra is famous for her character, that's true. But they ended on good terms.
Yes. And you could also see that Tamara obviously knew that Boikova would be upset by being in second place to her team.
Who wouldn't? Yeah.
I thought that Tamara showed so much maturity and just personality, right? To the way that she congratulated her. She seemed to console her on the
What
mistake.
did you expect? That's Tamara Moskvina. She's wise, she's experienced, she's good at politics, and
How
she's a
would
good person.
Tarasova have handled that situation? She would have been like, oh, and walked the other way, you know? Yes.
Who knows? But Tamara Moskvina definitely knows how to behave in public. And
Perry would be
Alexandra,
like, walk the other way. You know, I mean,
they're
I
getting better in terms of public appearance. And Alexandra and Dmitry, they immediately after they realized they're second, they came to congratulate. It was their initiative to congratulate Alexander and Anastasia and Tamara Moskvina. That was a good gesture. That was a good thing to do. That was a good thing.
I have only seen Tamara make one mistake since the Olympics.
Which one?
When she took a photo with Dr. Shevetsky. That damned her to the West when she had her entire pair school.
Don't you think that Tamara Moskvina, I don't know, tell me how she's perceived in the West, but she's been through a lot. She has such a reputation, a good reputation. She is, I don't know, an icon. She's definitely a very prominent coach.
Yeah.
A picture with Shvetsky, I think it wouldn't damage her reputation.
I think a picture with Shevetsky starts to make people think about Salt Lake City and what happened with Toktakhanov and all of that stuff. And I don't think that that was positive for her. I think it was a mistake. I think she's 99.999% always on point. I think that that was a mistake.
She can afford.
She can. People will forget it. They will forget that it happened. I will not. But I love her. And I don't trust her, but I love her. And I think that she is a very smart person that who will win at the end of the day. And I mean,
oh, yes, she is. She is smart. She's wise.
yeah.
And she is very experienced. She knows a lot.
And I get that every coach is playing domestic politics and international politics, which are two different things.
Yep. Yeah, of course. They have to bear it in mind. So,
but
let's switch to men. This is by far the most disappointing. This is the most, first of all, I want to make a statement.
Yes.
Russian men event is so underestimated by the Western audience. We have lots of fantastic skaters. And the most interesting is that you never know who's going to win. They're so different. They're coached by different people, by different schools. It's such a thriller every time you watch men's event. And since Kolyada time, and let's say last Olympic, we have a number of boys who can perform internationally, and they're beautiful in terms of presentation. They're beautiful in terms of technical ability. They have good jumps. They have lots of quad loop, for instance. They're good. I'm ambassador for Russian men skating. This is really, really nice to watch. Please watch Russian men. Gumennik, Semenenko. We have a new prodigy. We have Vlad Dikidji, who got silver. This is something you should really keep an eye on. And I hope that when Russia is back, those men could put up a fight to the champions.
What's your ideal performance by a Russian man? Like, what do you think was the greatest?
Nationals?
No, ever. Like, who is your exemplar of what a Russian male should look like as a skater?
I have my favorite program.
Yeah, okay.
Which is Mikhail Kolyada ballet program, White Raven.
Mine as well. That is my ultimate. Muravieva is the ultimate program.
Yes, because this, unfortunately, it was never performed probably to the, to the quality, to the extent it was planned to. So I see that he's some kind of tragic figure, I think, in history of Russian figure skating. But I love new generation of Russian boys.
He had the best extension since Paul Wiley. He did.
But I think that Gumennik has potential and he can do well, pretty well. He is mentally mature. He is physically mature. He is beautiful. He's tall. He's doing good jumps. So he could, I think, show some competition for Adam, Ilya, Yuma. So Kao.
I have to say, Semenenko, I'm really impressed with, first of all, whatever happened with his concussion the summer after the Olympics in that show.
Oh, that looks terrible. That looked terrible.
He has come back and he is extremely steady. Like I was talking about Muravieva. He is very reliable.
Mentally very mature. He's very mature mentally. He's also a student of the medical school. He is very smart and he knows how to control his emotions. So I think that also a very good potential.
I am impressed with his demeanor. I don't find him to be an imaginative skater. I think he's quite stiff, but there are trade-offs. It allows him to jump well. It allows him to have maybe some of this.
Still put a performance, like he knows how to present the program. Every skater knows his, good sides and probably some weaker sides, and they know how to pack them, right? So,
but his consistency and the strength of his jumps, he doesn't get the best landings, but he does do them every time. So I think that over time, the consistency helps, right? And the judges view you better.
And he has the international experience because he's been at Worlds, he's been at the Olympics, and this is very important in terms of, psychological maturity. When we have those, one quarter, when we have that one quarter, a little bit, sorry, my English is again me. So we need not only a person who could jump and perform, but also who could fight mentally. And probably Semenenko is the best option for that.
What do you think about Gumennik? To me, he is the most well-rounded of the skaters.
Well-rounded is a good word. Yes.
His quads can sometimes be a little bit under-rotated by a hair, right?
He's so tall. He is a little bit shorter than Nikolai Memola, but still, he's very tall. I think that when those skaters of that height do their jumps, they should get a bonus. They should get a bonus for that. Seriously, because it's just incredible. You cannot, when you stand next to Nikolai Memola, it's like, how come you're doing that on the ice? It's just incredible. It's just, not possible.
Yes.
Impossible.
Also, I want to ask you about Memola. His mother, was she a Mishina student?
Yep.
Yeah.
Also at the university, we have the university in St. Petersburg, physical culture, like sports university, and she was his student there. And I interviewed Mishina about Olga, Nikolai's mom, and he was saying, all those beautiful words about her, how talented she was as a student, and he keeps helping Nikolai. And Nikolai comes for training in St. Petersburg, and Mishina does some part of in his preparation. So Nikolai is, I really, really cheer for him.
Do you know who she's coaching right now?
Yeah.
You know who she's coaching?
Olga?
Yeah. Corey Cercelli from Canada is training.
Corey, but isn't Brian Orser?
Yeah, but he's not in Italy, and Corey is spending time.
He came for the nationals. I saw Brian in.
He did come, but Corey was training in Italy, without Brian and with Olga, and she's apparently a very tough Russian woman, like Tatiana Malinina. Like she's gonna make that boy train, and he needs someone on her that's a little bit nicer than.
But she's very well equipped as a coach. She was trained very well. She has good experience. She's also a very nice lady and a very caring mom. That's for sure. But I have a question.
What kind of a mom? Is she like a Nina Edmonds? Like, because we know that Nina was the engine behind Paulina. We're all watching.
Loves Nikolai so much. You can see that. She is, I never saw her saying anything not nice to him. She's very, very emotional when he skates. I always look at her when he skates. I like her.
He's not very emotional when he skates, so maybe the mother is more interesting. It's like when Guinard.
I have a question. Why do you think Corey decided to switch from Canada to Italy? Italy does not seem to be an easier competitive field.
I wanted to ask, I think there are a couple things going on. Skate Canada and Skate America are struggling a bit financially in terms of how much to spend on skaters and whatnot, especially and how many assignments to send skaters to. There's also pressure, especially in the US, to send younger teams to internationals to keep them to switch from other countries. That happens as well, which is kind of ridiculous that we're wasting money on the novice international before the teams are ready, right? And then I even skate with teams where I hear that the parents are telling coaches, if we don't get an international assignment, that we're going to leave. And I look at these teams and I think, well, if maybe you had the Twizzles together in a proper position, this would be a more interesting argument, right? Like, to me, you look like a village skater still, who's trying to get to the city. I think that Corey saw an opening because he's very smart. And I think with Daniel Grossel in the situation there, if he is really out for 2 years, which nobody is talking, but everybody is talking about, right?
Nobody officially is talking about that, which is weird. I mean,
yes, but if he is out for 2 years, I think he has a spot, but I think he is going to have to get the triple axel back and quite consistently. I would not be surprised to see Corey go to Mishina in the summer with Nikola Memela if their plan works out, because I think he wants to compete, but I think psychologically he needs to get himself in a stronger position, and he'll do that by training with the best. And I think he wasn't being pushed.
That sounds interesting, yeah.
I don't think that he has been pushed daily in the rink maybe since 2021, because the cricket club hasn't had anyone, right? And he was someone that grew up with...
Yeah, probably he needs some competition and, to push him at the rink.
Yeah. I mean, he was raised when Zhinya was with Gabby Daleman and they were having screaming matches on the ice, and, Yuzuru Hanyu and Javier Fernandez. And I think that excitement...
Oh, that was quite a team there. Yeah.
And that's gone, right? And we've seen his skating slide. So I think he needs that Olga to kick him into gear, because for an ice dancer, Corey, you are slow and you have gorgeous lines and you need to use them. Okay, because
he look dry, right?
Look dry, and you need to skate, with more passion. Yes, that. Yes,
that's a good wrap-up. Yeah.
With the men, tell me about the silver medalist, the new boy. You told me he's a prodigy. Yeah,
I like the fact that he understands that he's not good at second score yet. The PCS he needs to work on, that's for sure. And he knows that. He says that. He doesn't say that, oh, I'm good already, like I'm the best. I like, nobody actually really counted on, nobody could predict that he would win both Russian Grand Prix that he got and also score second at the Nationals. I like the fact that he is sober and sane about himself, about the field. He's respectful to all the other boys. If he works on the second grade on his second score, then definitely we would see some interesting, another interesting competitor. That's for sure. I always like when somebody, just appears from nowhere. It gives other skaters a good push. So I like that he appeared at the field and that he's there, and he's funny. He is popular on TikTok. He is dancing really good there. I hope that transfers to the ice at a certain point. So, I mean, he's a popular boy in Russia, I would say. Nobody knew him outside the figure skater world a year ago, but so far he could be a teenage crush, that's for sure.
I want to ask you, how come any Russian male skater that seems to have that sensitivity to music, right? Kolyada, Aliyev, Danilian, Fedotov, it doesn't seem like they are consistently at the top that often. I know I mentioned, it seems like especially...
Aliyev did well at this Nationals.
But how long have we been on this roller coaster with him for?
Yes, but I think it has to do with his, it's a mental side. It's not a physical side. He can jump, but sometimes just something happens. Sometimes he forgets about some jumps. Sometimes he just, to be consistent, you have to be confident. It's difficult to be confident at the Russian men's field in Russia at the moment, but probably it's just because, people are different. Some skaters are more stable than the others. Some are more confident than the other. Aliyev is also pretty popular in terms of participating in ice shows. So he's skating to some Russian music and at some Russian galas. He's also very popular. I don't know. You just have to jump. This is figure skating. You have to jump also.
I want everything well. That's why I like Osokina, right? That's why I like... But I wanted to give special mention to Daniil Samsonov. I thought that he was really impressive here because I didn't expect to ever see him back at this level. And I thought that he is
as well. Yeah. I didn't see that coming because I was pretty skeptical, to be honest. But he proved himself, to be in the game, to be a competitor. I don't like the way he speaks sometimes, because sometimes it's a little bit too much of a crown on his head. But, you know, it's a Terry school. Probably he thinks he's the best. I just hope he shows that on the ice consistently.
I would like to see Peter Gumennik have a program similar to Kolyada's in terms of Kolyada's Nureyev ballet program in terms of that kind of style, and because I think he needs it to set him apart with some of the judges. And I felt that his programs last year were better than this year. I thought this year the costume, it just got to be too much, you know, and it's
Probably yes, but you cannot be 100% ideal. You cannot have a 100% ideal program every year, right? To be honest, I just want them to be back at the international arena and just to be able to compete and then to prove that they're good or probably not that good. So I just want the world to see them, because when we say Russian figure skating, when you say Russian figure skating, everybody starts thinking about, you know, Russian girls, and Russian figure skating has so much more to offer. For some reason, probably it's logical, but Russian men were always in a shadow after the Yegudin-Plushenko time, right? Recently, they've been in a shadow of a women competition. And I hope that would change. And I hope that Russian men will have the spotlight they deserve. I have like messages to the audience.
You really do. You're really delivering. I'm loving this.
Make me an ambassador
Yes.
for Russian figure skating.
Yes, I think so. And you will be, you know, we can talk about the Valieva case when this comes out, but I want to know, where do we go from here? Because last year we had the jump tournament, we had the show tournament.
We have lots of things happening. We have the Channel One Cup. And
yes.
like, yes.
Is it going to be exciting? Like when Genia and Alena were the team captains?
Because this year they seem to have, probably they will have Galliamov versus Kozlovskii as team captains.
Okay, that's more interesting to me because last year's it was boring. Okay, Valieva is not a good captain.
That's why they decided they're gonna probably switch the format a little bit. We have the jump competition, which they also gonna change, I mean, the rules and the format, because they say that it was not as successful as they planned. But the problem with the jump competition is that when they first organized that, we had lots of girls doing many quads. At the moment, we don't have lots of girls doing many quads. And the very idea of the jumping competition was girls against boys. And at the moment, that would not work because we don't have like girls doing triple axels and quads.
Yes. Скажите, пожалуйста, is the jumping tournament supposed to be before or after the Valieva verdict comes out? Because if it's the same time, that will be heaven. That will be so good.
No. I think it is late January, mid-January, something. I think mid-January. I can check.
When are we hearing about Kamila? When is that? Like early January, February?
They said before February 12th.
A Valentine for all of us, right? I mean,
probably just the 2-year anniversary of the Olympic event. I don't know.
2-year suspension. Yes,
I think they could do it earlier. Obviously, they know the verdict, I think, but for some reason they still are not ready to present it.
Listen, okay. Are we getting the show tournament with Matvey Vetlugin again? Like, is this?
No, first of all, we need to have the Grand Prix final because Russian calendar is not as international calendar. We had the Russian Grand Prix.
It's like Russian nationals #2, right? That's what the
kind
problem.
of, yes. But what they said is that you can make it to the Russian national team only if you do good at both events, both Grand Prix final, which is called Spartakiada this year, and the Russian nationals. So it will keep the skaters, you know, motivated. We'll see. So we have the show program, the Channel One Cup, which is like 2 teams competing against each other. We have the jumping competition, and we have the Grand Prix final. Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
Now, what does Spartakiada mean? Because they used to have gymnastics competitions with that name.
It's a Soviet name for a competition. Spartacus, you know, the origin. Spartakiada is some kind of competition. It first, you know, happened at the Soviet time, and they have the nostalgia, obviously, for Soviet times. And now they decided to have Spartakiada in all the other sports, not only figure skating. So Russian Federation of Figure Skating was told that the usual Grand Prix final this year will be held within the framework of this Spartakiada. That's all, just a new name.
What was your favorite moment of Russian nationals this year?
This year?
Yes.
Oh, I think when Sonia Muravieva did her triple axel, because I screamed so badly because she struggled with that element for the whole season, like the whole autumn. She's been failing and she's been so emotional. And I'm so happy that she managed. I don't care about the places, I don't care about the medals, but when a figure skater is so passionate about something and she needed that element and she didn't give up and she didn't say, okay, I'll play safe. I respect that so much. So I like that a lot, but also the whole men event, obviously, I don't know, they're probably, oh, no. To be honest, Sinitsina's free skate and the way her and Anna Frolova skated in the free, because this is just the anthem to women's skating. I think that if they were to compete at the international arena, everybody would have fallen in love with them, because this is just what you need from women figure skating. Yeah, I think that this was the climax for me. That was the best part for me.
I mean, I thought of you so many times throughout this week as I'm watching, because I got a voice memo from you asking me, why don't skaters dress up for the Grand Prix final? And then the Russians have the draw on TV, which is like a preview show for the competition.
Yeah.
And
A chance to, dress fancy and
I loved it. I loved it. Okay, I mean, all of them
it gives a lot of ground for speculation. It gives you a lot of ground for talk, because not everybody was looking very good, but we could discuss at least.
We see personalities, we see
taste or absence of taste,
rumors about who's the Gitov is dating, like all of this. It's what you want at Russian nationals. It is the ultimate. They need to keep doing it. They need to bring back stars from the past. I want to see Alena interview Zhenya. And I really would, yes, I thought that it was such a nice touch to the event. Some of the pair girls were wearing, outfits that I thought were a little unusual for the event. And I thought that, Boikova.
There are so many very young girls, and at a certain age, they all want to look grown-ups. But it looked like they borrowed some things from their mother's wardrobe.
There's nothing like a Russian trying to outdo another Russian with fashion. Okay, that is the ultimate. Okay, so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed them going over the top.
But I do love those, the Russian draw and the banquets at the Grand Prix final and Grand Prix events, because you see how actually the figure skaters would dress if they were to choose what they're wearing. Sometimes it's not what I expected them to choose.
Who is your favorite skating designer in terms of costumes?
Skating designer?
Yeah.
I like Ito, the Japanese one. I love Maria Evstinieva, who is the girl from St. Petersburg. She was doing Isabeau's dress, I think, this season.
Wait, Isabeau dress that everybody hated?
You asked about my favorite.
That's okay. I am just asking you. Yes.
What I know is that the designers, they always do what they're asked to do.
I'm so upset with
don't judge, but don't judge the designer by the dresses you see on the ice.
What coach do you respect more than anyone in figure skating when you talk about skating? What school do you prefer?
This is not the round of questions I was ready for, because it's not. You know what?
How do you consider yourself a fan of the International Academy of Montreal and you don't give Mathieu Caron his due? How?
No. I thought we were still talking about mainly about the Russian arena.
All of the designers, okay?
Okay, Medicine Chalk.
Oh, don't you want to see her at the draw at Russia now? I want to see what she would have worn.
She is a diva, and she knows how to present herself, and she knows how to shine out there. Oh, that's for sure.
That's why they're winning in that free dance. It is all about Madison's look and the artwork. Oh,
but she knows how to capture an audience, right? She knows how to do that. So why wouldn't she? I'm very interested. She says that she wants to become a costume designer herself. I'm really interested in what she could do for other skaters, because she has a feeling, she has a taste, obviously, and she has a feeling of how that would work on the ice. So for me, it's interesting. But of course, Matthew.
I have the desire to work with Madison Chalk, but I don't have the bank account, for that many crystals as much as I would want in a Madison Chalk. Looking at how detailed her costumes are is so impressive.
There is an idea behind her costumes, and this is what I love. It's not just, okay, let's just find a pretty dress. There's an idea, and this is what we all need, right?
Did you see the video of Papadakis and Cizeron with the Paris Opera Ballet?
Yeah, yeah.
What is your take on this? What is your take on them? What are you?
I want them to come back.
If they come back, will you buy Guillaume's cologne that he is selling? Where he's like,
I will buy everything they're selling. Seriously, yeah. I think that World Ice Dance needs them to come back. The only nuance, the only thing here is that they need to understand why they would want to come back. If they understand why they need it, not just, to get a second title or just, to get more money. If they have the fire in their belly, if they have the passion, oh, that would be so good to watch. Because
can you imagine Guillaume sitting at home watching Madison Chalk take a gold medal that he could have easily won if he just went to the rink for 6 months?
Breaking his world records, huh?
Yeah. I can't see it. They need to
They're good friends, remember? They're good friends. They're family.
Everyone's good friends in skating. We love each other, right? Except for Tanya and Nancy. They all love each other, and Plushenka and Yagudin. Are they friends this week or not friends this week?
They respect each other officially. Okay, let's put it this way.
I think, yes, Papadakis is on respect Chalk and Bates, and at the same time, they think that they are better.
No, but they say, no, Madison and Guillaume seem to be like good friends, like friends.
Of course, right? I mean, Madison has good taste. We saw this from her costumes. She likes a good ice dancer. I want to see this competition between the two of them. I think it would make the sport so much more interesting, and it would make both couples more interesting.
I think that if Gabriella and Guillaume decide to come back, and if they do well at the first competitions they're having, I think that Madison and Evan will probably retire. They have already enough titles.
They don't have an Olympic medal thanks to Kamila Valieva. They will
eventually. They will have their medal. Probably
they won't have the medal ceremony moment. I think they need to have it, and they need to continue on for this.
I would love them to continue because they have something to show. They still have something to give us, right? So I love that. On the other hand, I really would love to see some younger teams also getting some medals. But if they fight and if they get their medal, okay.
Well, if they win worlds, but let's think about it. Let's say if they won worlds this year, right? Okay. Even if Papadakis and Cizeron come back and win, I think it would be very hard to retire the year that Worlds are in Boston. Worlds in Boston are such a special thing in America, right? Like the last Worlds in Boston was a sellout crowd. It was a huge moment in skating.
And Evgeni Medvedeva won her title, right?
Yeah. And diva Ashley Wagner got the silver, and Gracie Gold had her that was one of the greatest world championships of all time, right? Like it was just so spirited.
Do you think America has the same interest in figure skating as it used to have in Boston at that year, 2016, right?
Not right now, but I think it can grow. And I think the way that it can grow in a year and a half is, what is Ilya Malinin going to do? I have heard rumors of things that he is training to put in his program that we can discuss later. And I would imagine that would be pretty contingent. I think if there are any comebacks, I think that there will be an increased energy for Boston World, which we saw last time. In 2016, that's when Gracie really put everything on the line. Ashley raised her game. The U.S. skaters showed up for Worlds in Boston. So I think
we need America to have more interest in figure skating because that would benefit everybody. Mm-hmm. So I hope something like that changes, because I saw some pictures from Stars on Ice, probably that was in Canada, Christmas shows. The crowd was not that big.
Yeah. It's not. And Kurt Browning can't perform forever. He's been holding up North American figure skating it's true. That's why they have
Browning is a legend. Okay.
Yeah. But people still buy tickets to see Kurt Browning skate. And at the end of the day.
Yeah, because he's an icon. Of course you would buy tickets to see somebody that legendary.
I know.
But you know what? We're a little bit off,
topic. Yes, but this is okay, Maya. We like you for your big perspective. Are you excited for US?
No. I'm good. It's just that I'm getting, very hot.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you so much for coming. We love talking figure skating with you, and I'm sure
I could talk forever. It's just that I feel mercy for the viewers. It's over 2 hours already.
they're gonna love it, right? They're gonna 2
I hope
hours
so.
with Korolyeva and Bagriantseva talking
I
about it
just
all.
hope that people remember that they love figure skating and not just particular flags. So it's nice that you follow Russian figure skating, and it's nice that Russian audience follows international figure skating. I'm a peacemaker here. Please
Well,
watch.
what are they going to say about me on Sports.ru? That I hate Russians, that I'm jealous, and
I
that
think not anymore. I think actually what you're doing for Russian figure skating is something that Russian Federation of Figure Skating should have done, because you're giving Russian figure skating lots of spotlight. So thank you for that. That's for sure.
well, they tried. Ari Zakarian tried to copy the format for Plushenka, and he still will call me, so it's okay. We will.
I'm grateful, and thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you for
all
coming.
that.
Stevable show. It was always a pleasure to speak with
Merry
you.
Christmas and Happy New Year's.
Yes, Soradi Svom. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Russian Christmas is mid-January. We have
Yeah.
a calendar, but New Year's coming, and Happy New Year to everybody, and keep watching figure skating.
Thank you so much. Bye now.
Thank you, Dave. Bye.
This skating lesson is brought to you by Audible, where you can listen to audiobooks of your favorite titles, including Alone by Bill Jones, The Triumph and Tragedy of John Curry. Enter the code TSL Visionaries-20 at checkout for a free audiobook for new Audible members. Alone is also the January book club selection for the TSL Visionaries Book Club. To join this community, you can subscribe by selecting the Join button on YouTube. The Join button is to the left of where you hit subscribe beneath a YouTube video. If you would prefer to join the community on Facebook, please click the link in the description box below.